remain sympathetic because, yeah, apparently he liked to screw around, but not, but in a pretty straightforward way. He was having affairs with just, like women, not
Yeah,
like
well,
it.
so apparently so did Jesse Jackson. Apparently, he had a kid out of
Okay,
wedlock, but then so did Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think it
yeah,
comes with the territory, though, Rick. I think if you're a politician and you're a personality driven
Well,
crazy, that you do stuff like that, and
so
it
Schwarzenegger, people
seems
were
to have a high
offended
propensity
because
for it.
Schwarzenegger had sex with had an affair with his housekeeper, even had a
I
kid
know.
with
Can you
the
believe that?
housekeeper, and
so
people were offended because she wasn't hot. And people were like, why would you blow
Right.
up your marriage to get with somebody? They should at least be hot.
Isn't
Like
that
that.
the same thing they said about Monica Lewinsky?
I
Monica
mean,
Lewinsky wasn't
yeah, you got a
exactly hot.
point. You
So
know.
Lewinsky people, she was not a skinny girl, and so yeah, there was a certain amount of ridicule for her not being skinny. But now she'd be considered thick and super hot for that. So just the body standards have changed.
Yeah, body
so
Yeah.
standards.
so I think really it's mainly, yes, power attracts a lot of things. But I think a lot of things based on what the actual individual does and how they handle that situation. Like with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't think that hampered him much because of the life that he had lived, as well as him he to the housekeeper he had the affair with. I don't think he was abusive to the housekeeper or raped the housekeeper. Hence the reason you had a different reaction with what happened with Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's going on with Donald Trump, for example.
Correct.
Big difference.
So yeah,
Um,
and when Schwarzenegger was a bodybuilder and a movie
and
star, there are a bunch of clips of him acting in ways that you wouldn't want your governor to act, grabbing like showgirls and putting them on his shoulder, and topless showgirls, and like walking through a crowd with a basically naked person on his shoulder. I forget
Well,
some of the stuff he did, but it was
that's what I'm saying. Doesn't it go with the territory? These
yeah,
A personalities, this would be a normal behavioral pattern for them because they're not normal people. In other
right.
words, let's face it, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a normal person.
And
well,
Okay,
he's
he,
still
and
not normal.
neither is Bill
Here's
Clinton.
what he
It's
does
not.
now. Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger shares his kitchen with a really cute miniature donkey. He's
well,
got a burrow in his kitchen that he eats breakfast with. He puts on videos of him eating breakfast with his pet donkey.
well,
Yeah,
So
the donkey
I don't
Highlander.
think it's the thing of being eccentric or anything like that. Um, when a person is in a position eh, of power or of authority, there is an attraction, a natural attraction for some people there. Um, I mean, Rick in the sexual game, people in uniform. Oh, it's some women find that very attractive. It's a position of authority that's there, so that attraction is there. The gentleman who's in that position, or even the woman that's in that position, how they handled that is where I think the difference is. For example, I mean, even if you take the Bill Clinton situation, that was seen as a very poor move.
Mhm.
Not how um, because it was just an affair. No, it was how he treated Monica Lewinsky after that, how she was treated within the media, and so on and so forth. So that brought a lot of the angst and anger in society because of his treatment of not only the situation because it was a power dynamic and him using that in a sexual misconduct way. That was a problem, but how he handled that situation and not
except
really
that
taking
his
ownership.
approval went up because people felt that the Republicans were persecuting him for what was a private matter. Now, there was terrible behavior on both sides. Bill
Right.
Clinton lied under
Oh yeah,
oath, saying he was trying to get out of it because I don't think he never had intercourse with Lewinsky. and he was trying to say, yeah, I never had sex with her because he wasn't counting BJs as sex. And the Republicans were like, no, that's not going to fly. They also tricked Lewinsky into giving up evidence. So Linda Tripp, who was supposed to be her friend, was working for the Republicans and got a hold of a dress that had the stain on it that became evidence. The whole thing kind of disgusted everybody, and it actually led to our horrible politics of now.
Well, speaking of horrible politics and everything along those lines.
So it cost Gore the election because Gore was disgusted with Clinton and didn't use him sufficiently on the campaign trail, and then Gore loses narrowly.
Yeah, he lost narrowly. Speaking of losing narrowly and the whole notion of people,
Mark,
the current president.
Hold on a second. Interrupt real quick. Yeah. Kim is the only woman here who's here on the panel, and she had her hand up, so it'd be great in this discussion.
I don't care. I just wanted to mention that the stock market opened up with a bugle playing the taps low today due to the fact that for the first time in a very long time in history, the wholesale prices have increased more than it ever has and doubled since last month. So we're in a trend now of a downward spiral that I don't think we can pull out of. Also, be very leery of what the administration is telling you of what they are doing in the war. I have received notification from someone whose family is in Iran. They're stuck there, and it's not anything what Trump and Pete Hegseth is telling you, and I have great concerns of what the real intent is after hearing what I heard last night. It is very concerning because they are telling it, first off, we're using AI. First time ever the amount of AI that we're using to make precise hits. But I am told that they're not hitting the military bases nor the weapons that have been stored. They are doing a complete genocide and hitting all civilians, hitting the hospitals, hitting the schools, hitting the churches or whatever they call. But they're hitting the civilians, and they're doing a complete genocide and being very protective. And even though they're telling you certain government officials are being wiped out and killed, that they're being very protective over certain elements of the military of Iran, protecting the weapons. So I don't know how true about what they're saying, that all the ships have been blown away and all the airplanes have, based on the report that I got from someone whose family is stuck in Iran right now. So I just wanted to give a heads up on that. I don't know what that would mean. I haven't slept since I heard this because it's very concerning. Why? First off, we know Trump is the GOAT of cover-up. He is the GOAT of cover-up. He does it better than anyone we know in front of everyone, and no one cares. But this is a horrific cover-up. If you have to think about all the different, what does this mean? Not a conspiracy theory, but what would it mean if that's what they're really doing? If they're committing genocide of the citizens of that country and reserving the military and the government.
So
just ask.
This is like this reeks of Israel. Israel has pretty much lost any hesitation about hitting mixed targets, where it's part civilian and it's part somebody they want to take out. If they want to take out somebody, they'll blow up in an entire apartment building with civilians in it to take out their target. And if we're following their lead, so Iran has this Revolutionary Guard that's 154,000 people. It's an internal police, and they're well distributed among the population. Following the Israeli tactic, we will send missiles into civilian areas to take out the Revolutionary Guard, well, because that'll probably also blow up some civilians.
Yeah, the blow up some civilians as well. By the way, because yesterday
Well, I
was
was
St.
told
Patrick.
that they're not just going after the revolutionary; that they are completely committing a
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
genocide.
you heard that they're targeting like
Yeah,
schools and stuff
we don't
intentionally.
know we don't have evidence of
No,
that. yet.
you don't know, but I believe this person, and I believe what their family is relaying back. I believe that they are there; they're locked in; they can't get out.
Yeah, they're
So
still
I
doing it.
believe
I don't
this.
know what the purpose of that would be, because Iran has 93 million people. Tehran, the capital, has 10 million people. I mean, how are you? I don't know what you get.
Would
from
the purpose
going-
be to get
That's
the
what I'm
oil?
asking. What would you get by doing that and just keeping
I mean,
the
wouldn't the purpose
military
be
and the government in reserve? And I have a little bit of a problem that they used one of the excuses of, well, they're killing their protesters and we can't have that. Are we killing our protesters? Is this what America first means, that we're going to kill Americans first for protesting? I mean, I don't know. It's all very
Well, I
weird
mean,
to me
you're
because
missing the.
I half believed. I didn't believe everything Pete Hegseth said because I think he's a bigger liar than Trump. But I half believed that maybe they were blowing up the military and the weapons. Half believed, mainly because I thought we obliterated all of that a year ago. So everything that comes out of their mouths, all right, you can believe everything that's coming out of their mouth is a lie.
Yes, that makes
And
sense.
so I just want people to be aware of what I heard, because that's concerning.
No,
And I
that's
agree
very.
with you, 93 million is a lot of people. But, have you seen Trump show one ounce of remorse of all those little girls being killed? Have you heard an
Yeah.
apology of anything,
No,
other than denial? Have you
What?
even heard remorse, whether
No,
it was our
no.
fault or not? No,
No, there's been no
no remorse,
no remorse at all.
because
He's been,
they intend to commit complete genocide.
well, speaking of complete genocide and everything
So
like
I
that.
think the big thing is that I don't even think that Trump wants to commit genocide. I don't think he wants to do that. I think what it is he doesn't care. That's what I think the problem is. So if it happens, as he said when he was talking about the deaths of the U.S. soldiers, it happens. So that tells me that you don't care, and it doesn't matter to you. Rather than he wants to commit genocide, so he'll never show sympathy for the young girls. He'll never do that.
We
Because
need
he
a
only-
commanding chief. A good commanding chief is one who does care.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's not a good. He's not a
You've
good
got to have
commander in
some
chief.
edge about you going into war, but you need to care about the value of human life.
You would think
Completely
so,
agree.
but he doesn't really care. Like he said, and I don't know that he's a good commander in chief, but he's also got some
Oh,
strange.
no.
He's also got some strange obsessions, Kim. Because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day and everything like that, and apparently he referred to the female president of Ireland, because they do have a female president, as a man. But he also has an obsession with windmills, and apparently this obsession has to do with the windmills causing problems at his golf course in that part of the country and everything like that. So he has a strange obsession with windmills. I don't know why he has got this strange obsession with windmills, other than
Yeah.
it somehow messes up his golf game, and he thinks that these wind turbines are messing up his golf game and everything like that. So he's got this strange obsession with this that he brought up again yesterday when he was meeting with the Prime Minister of the Irish Prime Minister.
So I want to go back to something you first mentioned, Kim, which is, the inflation numbers for February came out. Inflation is up to 3.4%, which is that's a number that got Biden not reelected, that got Biden in trouble. And that number is from February, and the war didn't begin until the last day of February. So that isn't even a war number. So we could hit 4% when the numbers come out for March.
What I had just read
heard
is
an
that
estimate of 5% by the end of March.
what I had just read is that they had expected it to go up 0.3%, but it went up 0.7%.
Wow.
So evidently that's a hot
Right.
number, which is making things look a lot worse than
But
which
Rick is
they didn't
right.
expect.
Yeah, Rick is right. We are at the point of what caused the downfall of Biden. But I've heard that it will reach 5%. I mean, that's just rumor, very speculated, but from experienced people. But it's not over, and even when the war is over, that part won't be over. People are not getting jobs. It's something interesting I learned is a league of their own, right? Women's baseball is coming out big and strong, and they're actually getting $1 million contracts. They've got a professional league now. And sometimes this happens because men are going to war and you still want the sports to continue on. So women are going to, take hold of the sport industry and continue doing the sports. But the league of their own is definitely coming up and out, and $1 million contracts for female, that's always been unheard of
But,
in
I mean,
these
it's
sports.
not
Well,
that the
they've
men
got
are
million
all
dollar
the way at
contracts
war.
with the WNBA.
It's that we need more stuff to bet on, and we need more thirst traps. If you look at if you Google WNBA stars, I'd say that 2/3 of them have thirst traps posted online. Here I am, like a 6'4" blonde lady in my bikini in a hot tub. Also, I play basketball, so it's a lot. Also, okay, I want to go back to the economy for a sec. We have an unfolding disaster that we've been too distracted and too bullshitted to notice that even under Biden, AI was eating jobs like Pac-Man, just coming along, and it would have taken some very competent economic professionals to manage that without sending us into a recession. And we certainly don't have competent people in charge right now.
Well, speaking
So
of,
with
hold
what
on a
was going
second.
on then, with what was going on then, yes, AI has been coming for a long time. AI has been, getting better every year, every week, every day. And now that more people are using it, it's just going to improve. It has still a ton of flaws, but people are trusting it more, which is bad because then they're just going to repeat the flaws that AI does.
That's
so
right.
A lot of the professionals, hence the reason why I think it's either California, New York is trying to ban right now. New York City, Mamdani's trying to put in the ban so AI can't be used in medicine or in legal purposes. I think California is doing the same. But again, these are things that are necessary to protect us from the onslaught of AI, because those professional jobs we're still going to need, or we are going to end up in a world like Idiocracy. But the big thing is with that situation you were talking about, all those individuals that were supposed to be working towards that goal, Rick, and having those smart individuals, that's where the CHIPS Act came into play, and that's where a lot of the information technology world was starting to pick up and get some money around that.
Well,
It's
speaking
no
of
longer there
misinformation,
now. Now it's, hey, let's make money.
Well, we started late and everything, but speaking of misinformation and everything like that, it looks like the judge has ordered the Voice of America to restart all news operations. So that's going to be something interesting. It looks like 1,000 Voice of America employees are back in that they deemed that wind down to be illegal. So the judge,
the Voice of America is the radio station for the world. It's where it's where we put out, like, for countries that maybe have a problem with hearing the truth. The VOA is supposed to provide the truth for people in countries that have a repressive regime. And then Trump, that's one of the things that Trump wanted to shut down.
He wanted to shut that down, and apparently the judge has indicated he might shut down Trump's $400 million White House ballroom plan, much to the chagrin of Nick and others as well. But judge questioned Trump aides' brazen claims on the White House ballroom, and it is looking like that might get shut down after all, even though I think they've already done something.
But all they have is a freaking hole in the ground. Here, I want to go back to jobs.
Looks like Trump bombed the White House.
Yeah, but let's do jobs numbers under Biden. First year under Biden, the U.S. created 6 million jobs. A lot of those were jobs that were that went away under COVID and came back. Then the next 2 years, about 2.5 million new jobs created per year. The last year of Biden, 1.5 million new jobs, of a steep decline. And then under Trump, 0 new jobs created under Trump. So we're not in a good job situation.
No, because they did nothing but fire them. And if you've noticed, they've got the hearings of Doge on now, and the witnesses, the employees of Doge testifying, and it's sickening to watch. It is probably the most sickening thing I've watched since I read all the police reports from the Epstein files, which caused me to throw it. But we're at 11 o'clock, and we thank everyone for joining us. We thank Rick, Dr. Sharif, Jacoby, Mark, as always. It's great to see everyone. Nick is gone, but everyone, thank you so much. Stay safe. Be aware and alert of your surroundings and report anything that doesn't seem right. And stay healthy so you stay wealthy. And until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, have a good day.
Yeah, bye.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, doing all right. Yourself?
Fine. What's on next? What's the next show?
Well, that's what I was saying. We could have gone a little bit over because I started late at about 10:15 and everything like that because I was overslept. But that's
Is that Sasha's show?
Sasha's at 1 o'clock, and it's a recorded show, and I've actually got to upload it by 1 because him and Jim do that show lately because he had a spat with Milan. So since he had that spat with Milan, then they are it's just the two of them right now on the investment show.
Nick, you mean?
Milan is the guy that was the dentist from Canada, but he's very much into the S&P 500, and I don't think Sasha is a big fan of the S&P 500. So they had a spat, and Milan, because he actually offered Milan a show here on the network, and I said that he could have the show, but I also haven't heard from Milan, so that was going to be something that Sasha had to facilitate.
Doing a show is not easy. Unless you learn to just talk it yourself. I mean, I've told people that over and over. Even for me, I know it's not easy. But unless you're really good at talking yourself, then you have to line up guests, and that's the hardest part, which you do, like naturally. So,
hold on.
I know it's not naturally. Okay, I'm just saying you make it look natural.
You make it look natural. Hold on 1 second, because we've been just talking away. Yeah, they've been talking away, so I got to actually end the show. So we're still on stream and everything like that. So let me go ahead and end the show. By the way, the Japanese Prime